Hi, my name is Lisa Washington, and what I would like to talk about is Equal Pay Day. We will be celebrating it next week on March 12th, 2024. I would like to reflect on just what it feels like to be discriminated with your pay, because I know firsthand what it feels like because I experienced it in the United States government. It was a position that I was hired for that was open because they heard about all of my experience. But it just happened that there was a white nurse that was hired at the same time as me. I did not know what her salary was at that time. It took about 2 years because federal employee salaries are on a website where you can see them, but it takes a couple of years. So once I did find out what she was making, I went to my manager, and I said, well, I have more experience. Can I at least have her salary? And they didn't see anything wrong with her salary being higher than mine. And what was found out was that she was making $10,000 more than me. And when I stood up and tried to ask for that same salary, they made me feel like I was jealous, belittling me, make me feel like I was less than, that I didn't deserve it. No matter how much experience I had, I didn't deserve that salary. So my goal is to not let what I went through be in vain. I've written a book, Faith Over Fear, a true story about learning how to trust God when all the odds are against you. And I've written several letters. To the White House, to President Biden, to Vice President Kamala Harris, and to some attorneys, but I haven't received any response. So what I've decided is, let me just read the letter that I have for President Biden, and then maybe somehow he will hear this, or someone will hear this that can change the laws or help us move closer to having equal pay for equal work. Because what happened to me, I don't want that to happen to anyone else. So let's read it. Dear President Biden, I'm a United States Navy veteran. I served 9 years on active duty. I'm writing to share my experience fighting a pay discrimination case against the United States government in today's court system. I faced incredible opposition. I was hired at the National Institutes of Health operating room in November of 2009. I was hired at the same time as a white female nurse for the same position. The position required at least 2 years of registered nurse experience in the operating room. The position also asked for scrub experience. I had 2 years of operating room registered nurse experience. I also had 17 years of United States Navy trained scrub experience. The white nurse had 4 years of operating room registered nurse experience and very little scrub experience. We were both hired under Title 42. This is different from GS. If we had been under GS, hired under GS, I think this would have been a different story. Where your salary is determined by a pay stub from your previous employer. My pay stub was my salary with benefits. The white nurse's pay stub was inflated without benefits. My supervisor at NIH was aware that the white nurse's salary was inflated without benefits. Also, this position was created because they heard about my 17 years of scrub experience. Hiring me was like filling 2 very different job positions. I did not know our salary difference until 2 years later. I went on a website to see federal employee salaries. The website showed that our salaries had a $10,000 difference at the time of hire. The website only showed that the EEOC investigation discovered that at the time of our hire, the white nurse also received a $10,000 sign-on bonus. Her salary was $20,000 more than mine. I did not receive a sign-on bonus. I received a pay cut. I started asking management questions about why her salary was higher than mine. I had more experience, but the leadership did not see anything wrong with our salaries. Before I started questioning the salary difference, I enjoyed working in an environment where my coworkers respected me and saw me as a resource person. Everything changed when I questioned my salary and filed my complaint with the EEOC. The retaliation I experienced from management and some of my coworkers was incredible. It was only by the grace of God that I survived it. When I filed my complaint, I thought that the judge would see the discrimination in our salaries. I thought that the judge would see the discrimination in our salary difference. I thought that the law was on my side. Yeah. I kept thinking, just hold on until the judge sees my case. I fought my case all the way to the United States Supreme Court without a lawyer. I did not see any justice in my case. When my case was in the United States Federal Court in Greenbelt, Maryland, the United States federal judge ruled that the white nurse received a windfall. Can you believe that? Let's meditate on it. Okay. A windfall. A windfall, let's take a little sidestep. A windfall is when you hit the lottery. It's when you receive an inheritance. You can look it up. It doesn't say that it's something that's awarded in the court system. It's not. That's not one of the meanings of it. Anyway, that's what he said. He did not rule that she received the money because of her education or her years of nursing experience. My civil rights were ignored. When I took his ruling to the United States Appeals Court, Fourth Circuit, they just upheld his ruling. I have on here, they just upheld the nonsense ruling. And then when I worked so hard to get my case to the United States Supreme Court, and it went up to them twice, and both times they denied it. They wouldn't hear it, but then they wouldn't explain to you either why they wouldn't hear it. So I will never know what their decisions were or their reasons for not, wanting to right or wrong. So my experience shows me how the laws in place are not enough to help people of color in today's courts. My experience exposed how difficult it is to fight a pay discrimination case against the United States government using the U.S. court system. My experience also shows how easy it is for the United States government to practice above the law with pay discrimination. While the United States government has put laws in place to prevent pay discrimination, it becomes a different story when the United States government is accused of pay discrimination. A federal employee taking a stand against the United States government will most certainly lose their job. The United States government's strategy is to make the person fighting against them look like they are a troublemaker, a bad employee. The goal seems to be destroy the person's character. In my situation, they could not destroy my character or make me look like a troublemaker or a bad employee. I had a 4.6 evaluation, But my final evaluation that was given to me on June 2013 was marked down to a 0. My supervisor just wrote lines on it. I suffered through many roadblocks, obstacles, ridicule, and retaliation. I could only go forward. There was no chance of turning back, changing my mind, or going back to my job. I had no choice, but to keep fighting. The retaliation was so great. The fear of being fired was like a cloud over my head. Every day brought a new battle. Keeping myself encouraged was the battle in itself. I can't say enough about the fear of being fired. The time it takes for your case to move through the court system is so long. I was told that as long as my case is going through the EEOC process, I cannot be fired. But no one protects you from the retaliation or the intimidation. The same people that I was accusing of pay discrimination were the same people in charge of me. No one was watching them to make sure that I was safe. I was on my own. There were people that I could call, but no one stepped in to stop them. No. I felt like it was punishment for standing up for my rights. I was in fear every day of what would happen to me. I was in fear about something going wrong with my patients or a patient specimen that could cause me to be fired on the spot. Since the United States government could not destroy my character or make me out to be a troublemaker, they used fear and intimidation tactics to make me quit and give up my fight. I was told throughout my fight that the United States government does not lose. I guess that the United States government wins even when they are wrong and breaking the law. On top of fighting my discrimination case, I was diagnosed with breast cancer in January of 2013. As sad as this may sound, after I got over the initial shock of my diagnosis, I started seeing my cancer diagnosis as a chance to get away from my workplace and all of the retaliation I was going through. I was fighting pay discrimination and cancer at the same time. Management did not have any sympathy for me. The retaliation continued while I was fighting cancer. I ran out of paid sick leave, and some of my co-workers donated their sick leave to me, but management would not let me use it. They did not care if I had a 0 paycheck. DFAS had to DFAS had to step in and make my managers let me use the donated hours. I held on as long as I could, but everyone has a limit to how much they can take. I decided that I could not keep my job and fight my case in the court system. Management was able to do anything they wanted to me. June 2013, I had to resign from my job. The retaliation was too great. My first question is, if we know that pay discrimination is wrong, why is it so hard to fight it in today's courts? If we don't have laws to help us and courts to uphold the laws, then where are we going as a people? In 20 or 30 years, will our children's children still be fighting for equal pay? Are we a people that are just talking about changing equal pay laws but never do anything? Or are we a people that are willing to do whatever is necessary to make the laws better for future generations? The court says that you have a right to fight pay discrimination, with or without a lawyer. If you have a lawyer, your case may only last as long as you can pay the lawyer fees. If you decide to fight the case without a lawyer, you are expected to know what to file, when to file it, and how it should be written. There is no sympathy or forgiveness. If you make a mistake, you could lose your case. Most people who are discriminated against with their pay either cannot afford a lawyer or have very limited amount of money for fighting their cases. I know that in 2022, the White House hosted an Equal Pay Day Summit. Will there be one this year? If you are having one, is it by invite only? It would be a blessing if I could be invited to share what it feels like fighting pay discrimination in today's courts. If you are not having one, if you're not having a summit this year, can you help me share my experience with people that have the power to improve the equal pay law? I wrote and published a book about my experience because I wanted to document what happened to me. My book is titled Faith Over Fear, a true story about learning how to trust God when all the odds are against you. I thought that since I lost my case in the United States court system, no one would bother me again. But something very strange is happening in the United States Copyright Office. I'm having a hard time getting my certificates that say I have the rights to my book. Every time I do updates, I update my certificate with the Copyright Office. I had a scheduled appointment on August 8, 2023. I went to the Copyright Office. It was a strange visit. There was a white man and a white lady in the office. I was the only customer. When I was doing my update for my certificate online, the white lady would not let me put my name under the rights and responsibilities section. She said, "No, that's where your lawyer's name goes." I told her that I always put my name there, but she insisted that I leave it blank. And when I was trying to put the year that I was born, she told me to leave it blank. I had never experienced someone standing over me, stopping me from putting my name down under rights and responsibilities, or the year that I was born. And she was also writing down my case number. I left the office scared that somehow they were trying to take my rights away from me with my book. I have since called the Copyright Office to correct what the lady made me do. I have sent emails telling them to put my name down under the rights and responsibilities and to put the year that I was born. I was told that it has been corrected, but I have yet to receive the updated certificate in the mail. The last time it took almost a year, and I had to keep calling to receive my certificate. Can you please help me with what they are doing in the Copyright Office? Below are some ideas that I think can bring us closer to having the equal pay for equal work for everyone. Possible ideas for improvement. Number 1, remove the loophole in the equal pay for equal work law. The current law only covers situations where there is pay discrimination between a man and a woman. The law should cover every situation, man against man and woman against woman. Employers have to show, number 2, employers have to show all employees' salaries upon an employee request. Number 3, Increase laws that protect whistleblowers. Number 4, improve the equal pay law and prevent the need to fight pay discrimination in the court system. Your life could be in danger when you are fighting pay discrimination in the courts. I had people stalking me when my case was in the United States federal court in Greenbelt. Stalking me. It's in my book. It was a horrible experience. It's very scary. Number 5, the United States government would rather protect pay discrimination behavior than admit defeat. Create laws that hold the United States government accountable for its employees. Number 6 is more pay transparency. Create laws that require employers to show the salaries when they post a job. And then I end my letter with thank you so much for reading my letter. I pray that my experience will not be in vain. I know that we can make this better for future generations because our ancestors made it better for us. Thank you. That's my letter, and I pray that somehow President Biden will receive it or hear it or see this video. But it is my passion that we correct the equal pay for equal work law, that it can cover everyone in every situation, because it's the only law that affected the government's lawyer. When we were fighting equal pay for equal work, when I had my case in a court system, that's what I would put down, equal pay for equal work. And the government's lawyer would say, no, that's only when it's a pay discrimination between a man and a woman. That was the only law she saw. When I asked for my civil rights, it's against my civil rights, they just ignored that. So maybe this law could be the law for everyone, but we just need to tweak it a little bit and take that loophole out where it just covers just a man and a woman. So as we celebrate equal pay, my goal is to just get the word out, just to let people know that this is still happening and this is what I went through. So I'm going to be doing more videos because I want to do one where I can tell you some other verdicts that I heard, like in the EEOC. You won't believe what he said, but that's to come. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I know we can make it better because, like I said, our ancestors made it better for us. So thank you.